The cold hit Honggu's lungs before he even opened his eyes. It was sharp, dry, and painful. He coughed, gasped, and tried to move. Every bone in his body ached. His head throbbed, and his ribs screamed with pain. The inside of the ship was dark, except for the flickering emergency lights. Broken wires hung from the ceiling like vines. Smoke floated near the roof, and the control panel was cracked in half. Hongyu groaned and slowly unbuckled his harness. His hands were shaking. He reached for the seat beside him, but it was empty. He was alone. Everyone else gone. Miri, he whispered. His voice was hoarse. Ship status. The ship's AI answered, her voice far too cheerful for the situation. Hello Hongyu. Multiple critical failures detected. Hull damaged. Engine destroyed. Life support running at 11%. Communications non-functional. Would you like to hear today's motivational quote? Hongyu let out a bitter laugh and coughed again. No, I'd rather eat snow and die. You have selected culinary mode. In survival situations longer than 29 days, cancel, he snapped. He pulled his sleeve over his hand and wiped the blood dripping from his forehead. The cut was deep. Probably needed stitches. Too bad he didn't have any. Miri, scan outside. What's out there? There was a pause. Hongyu didn't like it when Miri paused. AI didn't usually need time to think, unless the news was bad. External temperature, minus 48 degrees Celsius, breathable atmosphere. Local life forms detected. 27 large creatures surrounding the vessel. Hongyu's heart began to race. Defined creatures, kindness analogs, quadrupeds, warm-blooded, estimated size, up to 1.5 meters at the shoulder. Unknown threat level. He leaned forward and looked through the cracked front window. Then he saw them eyes. Dozens of eyes. Shining, glowing in the yellow emergency lights. They were everywhere surrounding the ship. Standing in the snow. Huge animals. They looked like wolves, but larger. Their fur was thick and gray. They didn't move, just stared. Hongyu's hand tightened around his sidearm. The pulse pistol didn't feel comforting. If those things attacked, he'd be dead in seconds. Miri, he said slowly. Are they aggressive? Insufficient data for accurate threat assessment. Would you like me to extrapolate? Yes. Fine. Guess. Based on behavior patterns of similar predators. Survival chance 7%. Hongyu sighed. Great. He looked again. One of the wolves stepped forward. It had a scar across its left eye. Its fur shimmered slightly under the snowlight. Hongyu's breath caught that had raised one paw. It didn't growl. It didn't leap. It just lifted its paw and held it in the air, like it was waiting. What? He whispered. Miri. He asked. Unusual behavior. Possibly a greeting gesture. Possibly a trap. Or perhaps it wants to shake hands. Hongyu stared. That's not in the manual. He pressed the button to activate the ship's exterior speaker. Hello, he said. His voice echoed through the freezing air. I'm not your enemy. I'm just stuck. The wolf with the scar tilted its head. It chirped. Not a bark, not a growl, a strange, soft clicking sound. Then, another sound broke the silence. A deep vibration. Far away. Like thunder underground. Hongyu turned toward the horizon. Miri, what was that? Warning. Large life form detected. Distance, 2.4 kilometers east. Estimated size, 14 times the mass of current creatures. Hongyu went pale. Coming this way. Confirmed. Arrival time, 36 minutes. He looked back at the wolves. They weren't moving toward him. They were facing outward away from the ship, their bodies low, their heads up. Alert, Miri, he whispered, a chill going through his spine. Are they protecting me? Possibility high. These creatures may be defending the ship. Hongyu didn't move for a few seconds. Then, he said, open the hatch. Are you sure? Miri asked. Temperature is fatal after 10 minutes. You are injured, I know. Do it anyway. The emergency hatch hissed and opened. A wave of freezing air slammed into Hongyu. He gasped, stumbling forward. His ankle screamed with pain, but he limped outside. The wolves didn't move. They only watched. The one with the scar. The leader stood in front of the others. Hongyu stepped closer. I'm Hongyu, he said quietly. Not your enemy. The wolf lowered its head. Then it did something unbelievable. It turned its neck sideways, exposing its throat. Hongyu blinked. Submission. One by one, the wolves followed. 20-7. Huge predators all, laying down, exposing their bellies and necks, submitting to him. Then came the sound again. A massive roar. Louder this time. Closer. The wolves stood as one. Every head turned toward the east. The leader looked back at Hongyu. Their eyes met. Okay, Hongyu said. That's our problem, isn't it? The wolf barked once. Sharp. Firm. Hongyu nodded. We've got 30 minutes. Let's come up with a plan. He pulled his cracked tablet from his jacket, his fingers numb, his head bleeding. He didn't care anymore. He sat down in the snow, surrounded by wolves, and started drawing in the white. The cold didn't matter anymore. Hongyu's hands were shaking, but not from fear. The pain in his ankle and ribs was still there, but he ignored it. He was drawing fast in the snow. Lines, arrows, circles, a plan. He looked up. The wolves surrounded him, quiet, still, and alert. The leader, he now called it, ComE, stood close, watching every move he made. Hongyu pointed at a narrow gap between two frozen hills. He drew a large X-trap it here, he said. Force it to enter this pass. No way to move left or right. You hit it from above, I shoot from below. ComE stepped forward and made a long mark in the snow, with its paw changing the shape of the rocks. It added more lines Hongyu didn't even see before. Small cliffs, wind direction, snow depth. The wolf knew the land better than he did. Then ComE barked. The rest of the pack moved. Fast and silent, like shadows. Some ran to the left, others to the right. Each had a place, each had a job. Miri, Hongyu said, looking at his wristpad. Time to impact. Estimated arrival, 18 minutes. Let's move. Hongyu picked up what gear he had left. A flare gun with 2 shots. A half-frozen protein bar. His pulse pistol fully charged. His ankle was wrapped tight with foam, but every step still burned. He followed the wolves through the snow. The wind howled. The sky darkened. Snow began to fall again, soft at first, then heavy. They reached the ambush site, a narrow valley. Sharp cliffs. Deep snow. Perfect. ComE growled low and pointed with its nose. Hongyu hid behind a jagged rock. He crouched, pressed, against the stone, breath coming fast. Miri's voice whispered in his ear. Target incoming. Now 1.2 kilometers away. Then, the sound began. Heavy, slow, rhythmic. Boom, boom, boom. The ground shook with each step. The beast appeared. It was massive, like a moving mountain. Thick black armor plates covered its body. It had too many legs. Long, sharp, and clawed. Its mouth was a nightmare layered with rows of teeth and steaming breath that turned the snow into mist. Miri, Hongyu, whispered. Confirm identity. Unknown species. Estimated weight, 40,000 kilograms. Internal energy, possible plasma-based circulatory system. Hongyu nodded. A walking bomb. Got it. The creature entered the pass, slowly, sniffing the air. Then it roared. The sound was so loud it made Hongyu's ears ring. Ice cracked. Snow shook loose from nearby rocks. The trap was sprung. ComE barked loudly. From above, 2 wolves pushed down a massive block of ice and snow. It crashed onto the beast's back, stunning it. Other wolves leaped from ledges, biting and slashing. Their teeth couldn't break the armor, but they distracted it. Hongyu stood up and fired his first flare directly into one of its eyes. Boom! The beast shrieked, backing up, slamming into the cliff. It was blinded on one side now. Miri, Hongyu shouted. Power cell ready. Affirmative. Thermal charge armed. Hongyu grabbed the small explosive made from the ship's broken power unit. He wrapped it in the protein bar's foil and threw it. The beast snapped it out of the air. It swallowed it. Hold out. Hongyu dropped behind the rock. Countdown. 7 seconds. He covered his ears. Boom. A fireball exploded inside the creature's chest. It roared and staggered. Smoke and steam poured from its mouth. But it didn't die. It got angrier. It charged forward. Slashed the rocks. 2 wolves were thrown into the snow, not moving. Hongyu didn't have time to think. He limped toward the center of the pass, holding the flare gun high. Hey, he screamed. Over here. The beast turned. Blood and steam pouring from its jaw. Hongyu fired the second flare right into its open mouth. The beast paused, then started shaking. Miri, he yelled. Thermal spike detected. Explosion likely in 5 seconds. Hongyu turned and ran, limping hard. Behind him, the creature let out a deep, horrible sound. Its body glowed from the inside. Then dash, boom. That explosion lit up the sky. Snow shot into the air. Ice shattered. Flames turned blue. In the cold. Silence followed. Hongyu landed face first in the snow. His ears were ringing. His back ached. He was too tired to move. Then something warm touched him. A heavy body lay next to him. He opened his eyes. It was GOM alive. The wolf curled around him. Other wolves appeared, forming a circle. They pressed close, sharing their warmth. Miri Hongyu whispered. Status beast. Terminated. Radiation levels low. Ship remains damaged. Communications offline. Life support power 6 hours remaining. Rescue unlikely within 48 hours. Signal beacon is broken. Hongyu didn't reply. He looked up at the sky. The stars twinkled through the snow clouds. Quiet, peaceful. Then Gom pressed its head against his shoulder. Hongyu smiled weakly. Thanks for not eating me. The wolf made a soft clicking sound. Hongyu leaned back against Gom's thick fur and closed his eyes. He didn't feel cold anymore. He felt safe.